shall be limited to peaceful purposes. This is still very important and relevant provision. It has to be for peaceful purposes exclusively. Next it said, shall aim at ensuring safety. This is still very relevant, as you know. And shall be performed independently under democratic administration. It is rather unique to hear these days that any piece of Japanese law says it has to be done democratically. Perhaps people today in Japan take any process to be done democratically for granted. But in those days, perhaps Japanese democracy was still in the process of reconstituting, and people thought it was important to emphasize it. I think that is still relevant today. And the results obtained shall be made public so as to actively contribute to international cooperation. It is remarkable here that they already talked about the importance of international cooperation. I think with that spirit, we're now talking about nuclear security and non-proliferation, as some keynote speakers mentioned about the close cooperation between Japan and the United States and the IAEA. As far as utilization of nuclear energy is concerned, it made a great stride. For example, it supplied 1/3 of electricity. It achieved wide industrial and medical applications, a variety of international cooperation, such as Forum for Nuclear Cooperation in Asia, which is jointly conducted by the Cabinet's Office and our Commission events. There are many other events. The safety principle clearly has failed in 2011 when they had that terrible accident at Fukushima. If the principle was implemented meticulously, conscientiously, the accident could have been avoided. There are still debates continuing, but the fact that the accident took place is a clear sign it didn't work well. The main question here is, where do we go from here in Japan? How Japan should use nuclear energy from now on? In that respect, you may have heard Japan is restarting nuclear power generation. But I would say with a great trepidation. 5 years after the Fukushima accident, only 4 reactors out of 43 remaining reactors were put back into service. So that means Japanese people have a great trepidation in restarting the nuclear power reactors. It is not an extraordinary thing. If you have had a big traffic accident, naturally, when you sit behind the wheels next time, you feel very uneasy. Can I drive it safe? Can I be safe? So people tend to drive very slow. Is that right? So I think this is quite a natural reaction. This is partly due to the fact that reactors are taking a great amount of time going through review by Nuclear Regulation Authority to meet the highly stringent new safety requirements. No provisional permits for primary safety components are permitted. Therefore, they have to wait for the permits or clearance by the Regulation Authority. I think this very slow restarting with a great trepidation. It is also due to the fact that a great majority of Japanese people today, I would say 60 to 70%, still favor moving out of nuclear power generation. Or you may say a large portion of Japanese people is still undecided whether Japan should be putting back all the reactors into service or should gradually move out of it. And in a way, that great anxiety among the people's mind, people are taking comfort from the fact that there's a great delay in the Nuclear Regulation Authority permits to be given for the reactors to restart. I don't think this is a good situation. If you have concern about the safety of the reactors, if you have policy differences about the restarting nuclear reactors, you should say so and you should argue for it, rather than to count on the basically technical delay by the regulation authority taking so much time. It's not a good natural situation. There's one chart produced by